it was a bad relationship. It started when my husband and I opened a restaurant 2 weeks after having our baby. Don't ask. I don't know what we were thinking, but clearly it wasn't the best plan. After surviving the first year, my husband was running the restaurant on his own. I was pregnant and running after a toddler at home. The only interactions I had with people was with the strangers across the street fighting over parking. Maybe it was the hormones. I felt defeated and alone. Luckily for me, I met a doula. When we were expecting baby number 2, everyone, including the doctor, said the labor would be a lot quicker than the first one. Apparently, I'm not very good at following rules. I remember I was 37 weeks pregnant, which is considered early term. My contractions started on a Sunday night, and 24 hours later, we didn't have our baby yet. When we went to the hospital, they sent us home. By Tuesday morning, I knew our baby girl was going to make us wait. But my doctor told me she was going to be here soon, because I was already halfway through. So she put us into a labor room, and a nice lady comes in and introduces herself as the hospital's doula. Like most people, I had no idea what a doula was. And after 4 kids, my husband still doesn't know what they do. She was the sweetest thing. She asked if we needed support. But I said, no thank you. In my mind, I did it once, I could do it again. This was before I was subject to several procedures and forced to believe that I was endangering my child if I didn't speed things up. You know, it's not really like you can just pop out a baby, right? But my doctor tried by breaking my waters without consent. An hour later, she said, because my waters were broken and that I wasn't dilating, I was failing to progress. Basically, I was getting an F in labor. She suggested an induction, artificial hormones to stimulate contractions. My husband and I asked, can we have a minute to decide? She replied, well, you don't want a C-section, do you? I immediately caved into the induction. And shortly after, our baby girl was born. Good thing she was a fighter, because she was very tiny. She was early term. After the birth, I was constantly reminded, it's okay. Your baby was born healthy. And thank God she was. But I couldn't get over the fact that something wasn't right about this system, in which women and families welcome their babies into this world. I quickly did a lot of research, and at that time, I remembered the doula. After looking into what they did, I came to the conclusion that if I had her support, I would have felt confident to decline the induction and everything else that happened to us. But I was so overwhelmed with fear in that moment. I don't want major surgery, and I definitely didn't want anything to happen to our baby. So because of my childbirth experience, I was determined to become the support that I lacked. If I told you there's a drug that can decrease the time of labor, lessen or diminish the pain of contractions, and give you a higher rate of natural delivery without complications, would you take it? Yes, right? The truth is, there's no miracle drug, not even an epidural, ladies. But there are doulas. A doula is a professional support person trained in the needs of another during a specific period, such as childbirth. There's a lot of work that goes into finding the right resources and evidence-based information for a mom while helping her prepare physically and mentally for birth and beyond. The earlier you find a doula, the better. It just means more support for you. And when you have the right support, your body releases the love hormone, oxytocin. It does wonders for labor. So doulas are not medical providers. But what is unique about having one is that you get continuous and personalized support. You get someone who is knowledgeable about the physiological processes of childbirth, as well as someone to advocate for you. Your doula won't speak for you, but will say, hey, your doctor is about to break your waters. I know that's not what you want, so now is the time to speak up. And of course, doulas like to say, we hold space. Meaning, we are going to be there for you 100%, especially because childbirth can be unpredictable. I'd liken a doula to be a fairy godmother of some sort. Just being in the presence of someone like that makes you feel better and empowered to do what you need to do. I remember one mama whose first birth lasted 27 hours in the hospital. By chance, I was her doula for the last hour of it. For her second baby, I was working with her throughout her whole pregnancy. When she was in labor, she was in the hospital from about 4 a.m. When I met with her at 7, she was sent home, like me. Along the way, I picked up some breakfast for her and her family. When we got back to her house, her contractions had completely stopped. So I pulled out my exercise ball to help her baby's head engage. She was excited and exhausted because she had stayed up the whole night and she was getting concerned, right? So I reminded her how beneficial sleep would be. That good old nap helped kickstart her contractions, and for a few hours, her husband and I took turns giving her double hip squeezes to counteract the contraction pains. And some mindless TV can really help at this point. So we put on the movie, What to Expect When You're Expecting. Then, it was go time. When she was triaged in the hospital before her doctor arrived, her waters had broken naturally. And I knew she was close. But she had no clue. She thought she was going to be there for another 24 hours. When her doctor arrived, and we were all in the labor room, she had her baby within 30 minutes. Isn't that amazing? Once I stepped into this doula world, the more I learned, the more I was fascinated. I'm a huge fan of postpartum doulas. They do all your cooking, cleaning, and they even change the dirty diapers. There are also full spectrum doulas and bereavement doulas for those who have lost their babies. There is support for every aspect of pregnancy, birth, and postpartum imagined. And the best part is, anyone can be a doula, even guys. You don't need a medical degree. The only requirement is a willing heart. It's such an honor to work alongside medical providers and to support moms. And I can easily give another talk about the details of this work and the issues in maternity care, but I truly believe that doula support is the answer to changing the system for the better. Well, what does this mean for the rest of the non-birthing population? From my experience as a doula, I saw that even if things didn't go as planned or an emergency happened during birth, if there was an extra person holding your hand through it, the experience was still a great one. So I did a little thought experiment. Most active labors are shorter than a day, and since continuous support makes such a huge difference during this time, what if we could simulate this kind of support in our everyday lives? First things first, find yourself a doula. You see, everyone has the potential to be a doula. If you don't know how, you can learn. You can learn to validate someone's experience and feelings. And in hard times, you don't have to say anything, just lend your shoulder. Epitome says we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can speak twice as much as we listen. I mean, listen twice as much as we speak. No, listen twice as much as we speak. speak. And in my eyes, there are only two types of people: doulas and doulies, the supporter and the supported. And these roles are interchangeable. It sounds romantic, right? You know, instead of the idea that support is only reserved for the weak and vulnerable is crippling. Support is for everyone. There's nothing like a little extra hand holding that can't get you through. Support, we are meant to be here for each other. It is so quintessentially human. And you see, you may think this is so obvious, but it took me at least 20 years to learn to ask for help. Had I not cried out for help, my life would be very different right now. I certainly wouldn't have the courage to go back to school the day after having a baby. I certainly wouldn't be standing here in front of all you lovely people giving a TED Talk about childbirth. But what is it that takes us so long to realize that we all need good, continuous support? Not online support, not someone who says just get over it. Not when you're already diagnosed with depression. The struggles are real. Does it take someone who has gone through extreme hardship or someone super successful to stand up here to inspire you? That's what I used to think. But my story tells me something different. In order for us to reach the stars, in order for us to make our dreams come true, we all need to fill in the gaps. Here's a little secret. Do unto others what you would have them do unto you. Stick out your hand, bring out your inner doula, lift someone up, and with the other, make the impossible possible. Thank you.